On the 8th of June at Stanton SDA Church, #Gig will be hosting its second annual Christian musical theatrical show called Magukanye, directed by Sbusiso Mtia, producer of SID Media, written by Tammy Newton, writer of Pray On and Healing Through Tears, and musical director being Sabelo Masinga from Reality 7. We will be joined by seasoned musicians such as Fisani Masinga from Reality 7, Hush Male Group, Sihle Kaleni, Bliss Vocal Group, Palisa Mjapilo, Hlengi Wembata, Joyful Hymns, and so many more. Get your tickets now at CompuTicket or at ShopRite. Come and see the amazing show where gospel meets theater.
When I see young people at church, when I see young people coming together, taking church seriously and taking God seriously and the things of God seriously, that gives me peace. I was very, very worried after COVID or during those COVID periods when I saw social media and I was like, hey, they're gone. They are not coming back. There's a lot of hunger in the church.
Okay.
There's unemployment in the church. There are family problems in the church because there's gossip in the church. And I felt that the church was unmerciful towards me. I felt the people around me were also not kind. I was in a very, very dark space, and that space also affected my friendships because people then viewed me also differently, and
Adventist SA.
Ladies and gentlemen, adventurers, pathfinders, senior youth ambassadors, master guides, elders, deacons, to the Seventh-day Adventist Church constituency, Iring Amen. Allow us today to greet you in the name of the one who comes without arriving. Yes, they say from Helderberg, yet he arrives without coming, and his name is Jesus Christ. Today it is a great privilege and honor to present to you, the pulpit beast. Muruti was style, Baraki Pastor Bay Baba, Ariti Wakimai. Kimuruti of the urban churches in Johannesburg. It is the pulpit beast himself, Muruti Tefo Reginald Manyane. Muruti. Welcome, my pastor. It is a great privilege, ladies and gentlemen, to have the pastor in the house. You know, I think we only have an idea of who he is based on what he does on the pulpit, but not the reality. And now we are bringing the humanity of the pastor to the fore today, that you know the man behind the pulpit. Pastor, welcome to the Advent Pod. By the way, it is the Advent Pod SA, and it is a timely voice. Today, we'll be discussing the diary of an Adventist pastor. Muruti, outside the confines of being a pastor, right? Outside the confines of being there, the church boards and so forth. We're not interested in what you do, but who is the man, Tefo?
Okay. No, thank you. Thank you very much for that introduction. I know a number of beasts, pulpit beasts. I wouldn't call myself one.
We call you a beast for our generation.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I guess the work is showing.
Yes, sir.
The word put. Well, I mean, I'm Tefo's township boy, born and raised in the townships of the Northern Cape, Warrenton, exactly. It's my hometown. Very proud of it. Very dry place, but I'm very proud of that place.
I think trace you are only Warrenton and Taung.
People who just don't seem to understand what the fuss is about that place. But it's a beautiful place. That's where I'm from. Went to boarding school. I'm a chilled guy, man. I'm Kimfana Kasi, like I've said this before. Kimfana Kasi, I was raised in the townships. I don't know what you want to know about that.
Yes.
But generally, the ministry makes me who I am. So my Kasi township behavior is also shaped a bit by that. So
do you know why I asked that, right? Because the conservative view would say, for a pastor, in fact, you should not even be having time for podcasts. You should be fixated on LNGY. You should be fixated on, reading the Bible and praying. Do you pray all day? Do you read the Bible all day? Or is there something that you engage in, like the hobbies, do you go out? You understand, like try markets? Because personally, I'm a wanderlust. I love trying new spots and everything. Is there any things that, rejuvenate you?
I love travel by road.
Yes.
I like being on the road, and I like scenic places. Those give me life. What do I do for fun? I don't have much to do for fun except that I just like travel. And at the core of it, I'm a church boy. So church is serious for me, but it's also a fun place for me. So so those who want us to pray all the time, we pray without ceasing.
Okay.
We pray without ceasing, but we also have a life outside of that. We do engage in reading the Bible, of course. That is our manual for life, and that's our manual for work. So we engage in it. So we read it. We read enough of it. We venture into Ellen White's writings for the edification and for, of course, the church itself. So I don't know, man. You could say.
Okay, let me help you.
Okay, help.
Name one friend you'll never forget in your life.
A friend I'll never forget in my life. It's my homeboy. I know who you guys want me to talk about. But a friend I'll never forget in life is my homeboy called Smix. Simengai. He's my boy. He was born 2 months after I was born.
Right.
We stay in the same street back at home. So that's my boy. He's my brother basically. That's my friend.
What brings the pastor alive?
Me. What brings me alive? What do you mean, man?
Like whatever you be doing, what brings, like, now my life, I feel like I'm living my purpose.
When I see things going good in church. When I see things going good in church, when I see a church that's alive and active. But what makes me a bit more excited, I must say, it's you guys. When I see young people at church, honestly speaking, when I see young people at church, when I see young people coming together, taking church seriously and taking God seriously and the things of God seriously, that gives me peace. I was very, very worried after COVID or during those COVID periods when I saw social media and I was like, hey, they are gone. They are not coming back. But when we came back and I saw young people coming back more than they came back more than what they were pre-COVID. Young people are now deep in it. And I don't know what led to that. Maybe fear, maybe having a very close encounter with death. I don't know. But I see young people in church these days and I'm like, yeah, this is it. I'm happy with this. I could live with this all my life. That's it.
Just one last icebreaker. That one preacher you looked up to when you were young.
It's gonna be an interesting one to hear.
I mean, I will not lie to you. I've never had a favorite preacher.
All right.
But
Okay, from Helderberg, maybe that you looked up to.
No, he's not from Helderberg.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying from your journey while you were at school, as you're learning. Who were you looking up to?
Or anyone for that matter.
Guys, I want to answer this. I want to answer it properly. I will answer anyway. I've always looked up to Joshua Mabong.
All right. Yes,
I've always looked up to Josh. I've always liked how. So when before I went to Helderberg and I studied all these little things that we study that make up a pastor and how he thinks, I just enjoyed listening to him. He was just a beautiful person to listen to. This guy sounds nice. He's playing with words beautifully and all that. But then I went to school and I started listening to him and I started understanding exactly what he's doing, where he's coming from, what is he bringing together, how did he get here, and all these things. And I was like, actually, this is my guy. This is, if I were to be given a brain, I would like his brain, and if I were to be given a preacher's voice, I would like Pastor Mongwe's voice. And those two together.
Actually, thinking about it, all right,
Then I'll be happy.
Sure. So most pastors talk about, hey, I had the calling. God called me to be a pastor.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Take us through that for you. Was it there? What is the calling? Did it come from heaven? What's happening?
Hey man, I don't know. I've never had what do you guys call it in English? Epiphany. No, I didn't have that. I don't know how I became a pastor. I just one day decided that this is what I want to do. I did not have anyone to look up to. I did not get dreams and visions and from the Lord or from anyone else. I just decided that this is what I like to do. This is what I want to do. I've always been a church boy, and a lot of people really don't believe that. But I was born here. I was raised here. Yeah, I was born in the church. I was raised here. In fact, the church in my local, where I come from, Warrington, the church actually started in my grandfather's lounge. And I still remember myself as a young boy packing chairs on a Sabbath morning for the church to come through. We would also leave our home and go to another place, another old man's house. I think he was the second convert there. I don't know. I don't remember very well. But his son also ended up being a pastor, Murutise Hopa. We come from the same home church, from the same hometown. So I just always loved the church, and one day I woke up and I had a feeling.
Inclination to the church.
It's like, okay, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to do. So I don't have a beautiful story of I was sleeping.
It just happened.
Connected you to the heavens.
No, not to me. I just loved it, and I decided to pursue it.
Well, viewers, I know at this point in time, most of you are tuning into this channel because the men's sermon, they move you. As I've rightly said from the beginning, in my view, he's a pulpit beast. And Pastor, I want us to talk about the process, because we see the product now, what you do with confidence. And I know there's a signature, apparently there's a signature that you do. You are busy opening things. I don't know why. There's no...
I don't know what that is, but people say it's nerves. So I guess everyone, because it's not an easy thing to stand in front of people. Standing in front of people is not easy. I don't know. I shared this the other day. I told people, I said, whatever I'm looking for in my pocket, as soon as I find it, I'll let you guys know. But there's nothing. It's just Me getting, I mean, you can see it in the beginning. So because people talk about it, I went and studied it also. I was like, okay, sure. When I start, I'm searching for something in my pockets, but once I'm in it, I'm okay. So that means this is the nerves. I'm just trying, I'm finding something to cope
Or maybe
with.
you're searching for the Holy Spirit there. Hallelujah.
Can he be found?
Yeah. So, Pastor, my aim here is let's talk about your journey in terms of preaching. There's something in the hermeneutic space. No, I'm not saying hermeneutic, but preachers about offlect them. You know, get one offlect, but I'm saying, hey, this guy. They say, when you preach, that sermon was flat. Take me back to that sermon that you felt like the plane took off, Chief.
Yeah.
But it never landed. Like the plane took off, but when you got to the pulpit, delivery, you're a flat bar.
Bro, there are so many. There are so many moments like that. There are so many moments like that. The most recent one is I was in Zambia now in Jan, and day 2 of a mini week of prayer started on Wednesday. So I guess Wednesday you get there. So this is what a preacher does. I don't know if you guys do it, but when you go into a foreign space, you go with a trusted sermon. So that you open up the audience and you test them out also, because these things are important. I don't think people take them seriously, but as a preacher you must connect with the audience. And so you take your trusted sermon, you go with it, and you take all angles possible on it. And because preaching is a dialogue, you are also listening. You are watching, you are listening. So you hear, you wait for reactions, you watch the faces. So this is the one sermon you trust. So as you preach, you are looking at people, and preaching is not for you as the preacher, it's for the people. So you must look at them, hear them, see them, feel them, So you take your trusted sermon and you break it down, and then after that, then you can probably, that one sermon, the first sermon, tell that, there's a lot of hunger in the church. There's unemployment in the church. There are family problems in the church because there's gossip in the church. Because when you do that first sermon, you just throw in everything, and you hear the responses. The man that invited me said it's a camp meeting, it's a spiritual high. But when you get in here, you hear that it's for other people, it's more than camp meeting. They've come for answers. They are looking for answers in certain aspects of their lives. So these are the questions they have. So you answer them. So I went there and I preached my first sermon. It was beautiful. I enjoyed myself, and I saw the people also coming in. Day 2. Didn't take.
And you're confident now?
I know I'm strong. Day 2, Chief, it didn't even take off.
You.
I felt, I must have misread the audience. Because it didn't even take off. I'm sure in that week, that sermon was the shortest. It may have been, I try my best not to preach too long. But I can't, 15 minutes is a devotion, it's not a sermon, but I think I hit Boma 15 and I decided there and then.
This is where to start.
What was the problem?
I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know. I think maybe also, because we rehearsed this thing, you asked me a question that I did not answer, the process of it. You rehearse these things, you have to, because I don't like taking notes to the pulpit, but every sermon that I've ever preached is somewhere in my file, because I write it down literally. I still believe in writing, but I don't like taking notes to the pulpit.
Pastor, why? Can I tap into that? Just why don't you like
notes? They going back, then it
seems like you're unprepared.
It's limiting your. So once you have studied it, and point number 1, but how do I connect it to point number 2? Then point number 3. Then how am I going to conclude? Once you know those, then you can move easily. And because you wrote it yourself and you read the books that you read, and because you had the ideas that you had, they are yours. They are not. So because you wrote it, once you get to point number 1, you know how to play around with point number 2, but what's important is how do you get to point number 3.
Right.
So that last line before getting into the next point is also very crucial. So you rehearse those things, and so I don't like taking notes there, because then I depend on them too much, and I lose myself on it, and I also leave the pulpit with my head dropped because but if you give me 3 points, which is what we were taught at school, give me 3 points and I rehearse them, go to the pulpit, sit down, we are done. Yeah.
Okay, but on the positive side, which I think we can agree that for me, like I was even telling Pongs, I'm saying I think the best sermon that I've ever heard from him, Maponga, I'm not the man, right? So I want with you, like the best sermon you've ever preached, the one that you rehearsed in the shower and it came out exactly. Like there on the pulpit. In fact, it even surprised you. Like there were points you were making that were never there, but you're moving. Which sermon is this one?
I don't know, but there's a sermon I preached at Calvin, 2019, and I was still just coming in there, and so I believe that sermon was good because it was also not a sermon prepared for the people, but it was a sermon. It was mine. For you. Sure. It was mine. So it came from a very, very dark place. It was not meant for people. It was meant for me. I was in a very, very dark space at that time. There's a space that I don't even want to talk about that part, but something had happened on these streets, and I was not okay at all. I was not okay at all, but finding refuge here and there. So I then started reading, and I don't know whether it's sheer luck or whatever it is, but I was also not in, like I'm saying, I was not in the right space. But I read the Bible at that point, and the pastor then, because when I got into Calvin, there was about the 3 of us. There was the Calvin at that time had its own 2 pastors, and then I was the conference deployee. So at that time, the pastor then said to me, "Hey man, we are having communion. This is the last communion of the year.
Hey, I think I know this sermon, man.
So please come, and we are going to all." 4 of us are going to preach because they invited an extra pastor. They said, all we are going to do is just talk about grace. So, and at that point, I was, I felt that the church was unmerciful towards me. I felt the people around me were also not kind. I was in a very, very dark space, and that space also affected my friendships because people then viewed me also differently, and so when I was asked to preach about grace, I was like, you want me to go and have a conversation you want me to take our conversation to the public? It's fine, I'll take it. And that sermon was, I don't remember how long it was, but it was less than 10 minutes because there were like 4 preachers. So it was like 10 minutes. I arrived, I did what I did, and after that, I felt much better, felt healed, and I felt seen.
Felt heard.
I felt heard, and so that's why I say everything about that entire sermon was about me. That's the honest truth. I just took a message that was for me. I took it to church, and that's what a sermon is generally. Right. It's my conversation with God. Then I let you guys into it. All right, but this one was that personal that it was not even supposed to leave the pulpit. It was supposed to strengthen me. But at that time, I was not preparing for preaching appointments. I was on leave because the conference had put me on leave. But when I was called to preach, I was like, okay, let me just go. Let me go to church. Let me preach. That's a sermon that took me out of my own little rut, and it saved me. That's why I think it's the best sermon I've ever preached.
I think what you're saying, this sermon saved your, like preaching it, right? I think Pastor Bloss at some point said Noah was what kept Noah intact was the mission of God.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense because look, something must keep you sane. Even I think in political spaces, who's this guy? If you don't have anything to live for, then to die for, then you have
nothing. Cool. So, Mfundis, we were talking about you having been in a dark place, as you say, right? And you say what brought you out of that is the sermon that you preached to yourself, basically, right? So we then moved to saying you being in the mission sort of preserved you at that point in time in your life. You know, like Noah was preserved. I think that's beautiful because sometimes we don't know what you guys are going through emotionally. We just see, the confidence on stage, and we're like, you should be fine. Yeah, you should be fine. Nothing hectic. So tell us, do you think members should care more about the pastor? Oh, also I want to touch on the leave situation. I don't understand it. I want to deal with it quickly. Okay. But let me do this.
Put the leave here.
Yeah, let me put the leave here. So.
And we'll talk about the rat.
Okay. Let me put in the leave one. So my curiosity is, people have this idea that pastors don't work all the time. So they have this idea that you guys only work on Sabbath, for instance. So then I'm conflicted when you say you were preaching but you're on leave. And then I'm like, okay, but in the general consensus, people think you guys are not working anyway. Okay. You know what I mean? In terms of like during the week. So walk us through that preconceived notion to say what goes into the weekly, perhaps, and what are some of the misconceptions with that ideology of saying umfundisi usebenza ngeSabatha qha.
Okay. Yeah. Look, to start with, what am I answering first?
Yeah, I think let's go. You know what? I think we can do KG.
To the leave.
Let's start with what was the leave and what are you going on? What are we going through, my pastor?
All right, the leave. I'm an employee, and in South Africa, an employee is entitled to leave days. I don't know. They're sick. They study. There's family responsibility. So I'm entitled to that, and I will take it. And I understand people who have a view that pastors don't work, they only work on Sabbath. Interestingly, sometime, I don't know when this is going to air, but I'll just say last week. Right. Last week, I bumped into a guy that said something to that effect. And I said to him, I straight out said to him, I think your problem is that you, and I'm not pastor specific, but I think your problem is that you are accustomed to pastors who don't work. So you will have a problem with me saying I want leave because I'm not your pastor. You don't know what I get up to with the churches that I serve, right? So there are pastors who take this work very seriously. Right. There are pastors who enjoy a certain part. I mean, there are pastors who never preach.
That's quite true.
They don't. But if you want to meet the man, you will find him in people's homes every Sabbath, every day of the week. He's somewhere. There are pastors who don't do those visitations, but if you want to find him, you will find him at his office if he has an office in the district. You'll find him putting things together, organizing good programs, calling good people, and all these things. So the ministry is quite vast and quite different, and the gifts are also different. You know. So others will focus a lot on this one and let this one die. Others try to balance it out. So when you talk about pastors who don't work, who don't deserve leave and stuff like that, I really don't want to be a part of that conversation. But a church will feel differently. Ministry in Johannesburg, for example, I was very frustrated when I got here.
Really?
Frustrated because in fact I can take it back to Venda. Venda, Free State, Johannesburg, totally different. Because when I arrived in Venda, I wanted to be a pastor that visits members. But members did not want a pastor that visits them.
Sure.
Because of reasons known to them, and I will not share those reasons because at some point I picked them up. Then I forced my way into their lives. Then I had to have a culture change also, because let me share one of the reasons. One of the reasons is people have a certain high regard for pastors. All right, they see them because you're going to see me on Sabbath in a suit and a tie, and I'm neat and I'm clean, and I'm preaching in English, and it gives an idea for a person in rural Venda that, hey, this one, he likes
unreachable.
Yeah, he's So it was difficult for me. I mean, I was raised by a domestic worker. I ran barefoot. I went to school barefoot at some point in my life. I'm not. I like nice things, Maraki cheese boy.
Sure.
So then when I discovered that people are comfortable with an elder of the church going to see them in their homes, but they're uncomfortable with me, then I started forcing my way through that. Because Kiko Venda, the yard is open. Arrive at the elder's house, park my little car here, tell the elder, can we use your buggy? Let's go see one or two people. And they are happy to see the elder. Then I show up from the back also. Oh Lord. Then I start to see why they did not want it. There's a fuss. They want the best chair in the house. And let's sit under the tree. Let's have that mango. Let's sit under the tree. And that's how I got into it. Then I went to the Free State. I was in Vicksburg running through to Lady Brand, right? So it's professionals also there. The people that no, you can.
Yes, Pastor.
Yeah, so then I went to the Free State, and it's now I'm in the townships also. So there are professionals also who go to work, who they're fine with me visiting them, and I got into the groove of that. I visited as much as I could. Then I came to Johannesburg, and I wanted to continue what I did in Venda and wanted to continue it here. But here in Johannesburg, everyone has come to work here. Students have come to school. Business people, when you leave work at, I don't know what time people knock off. Let's say when you leave work at 4, depending on where you stay, you'll probably get home at around 6.
True.
When you arrive there, you have to cook. You have to make sure that the kids do their homework, and you don't even have 5 minutes for a pastor to come and sit. So people don't do that. So in Johannesburg, then you do a need-based visit.
All right.
So then the particular, I don't know about, I've not pastored Busoweto and them. I don't know about that. But this side where I am, it's a need-based visit. My number is on the bulletin. My email is on the bulletin. If you need pastoral visit, here's the email, here's the phone number. You all have access to the pastor. Let him know. If you and that's how it happens. If people don't, you can't even force it, because I can't go to an estate and say, because I need a pin, I need what, so you can't do it. So it's hard to minister like that in the city. So for people who really push for this idea that the pastor must visit, I think, it makes sense. But also you just snap out of it a bit. Think about it. Think about the dynamics of it also. It's not that we don't want. We're not given the opportunity to. We can't. But where we can, we do.
Pastor, now they're really saying, but this pastor is justifying it. So, because there's been rants, especially on Facebook. In fact, I saw another comment in Adventist youth group saying, these pastors, the local conferences and the management board, church board, must require reports from them. Because they're saying you only work for 4 days in a month, once a week, yet you get a 31-day salary package. Right. So I wanted to because I based on what you say, I feel like you guys are always on a 24/7 duty, 24/7, always on duty, right? So from the theoretical point to the practical, what is your weekly schedule? What do you get up to as a pastor in the Seventh-day Adventist church,
especially in the urban areas? Interesting.
I go on coffee dates.
Yes, sir. Wait, are you for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, besides the fact that people don't want us to visit them in their homes, besides the fact that they don't want us to visit they generally just don't like us meeting them in their homes.
Okay.
And one elder here, if he watches this, will testify to this. One elder of a certain church, I said to them, I think the church must get me a card, and they give it to me and load whatever amount of money in it, so that when I go meet their members, because I did not know there was such a thing called bootlegger. It's a coffee shop, coffee shop. I don't know about that.
Sure.
People then said, Pastor, I need to talk to you. Okay, sure. What time and when should I come to your place? No. Have you been to such and such a place at such and such a corner? Bootlegger? Like, yeah.
Wow.
I don't know that, but we can make it there. So and when I say coffee dates, I mean I meet people at restaurants to
yes.
talk to them, and so what was the question again?
Like your weekly schedule, what do you get up to?
Yeah. So that,
besides the preaching.
Yes. Like I said, here in Johannesburg, it's generally need based, and the need is also not always from the members themselves, but the need is also from me when I see people and like, can I come see you? Can I visit you? Whenever you can. So you can't really put what do you call this? Can't put a schedule to it.
It's need-based, as you said.
But there are a number of things that are just set. That are just set. Every Tuesday at 6, I have a meeting with a certain church. It's set. Every Thursday I have with another church. It's set. Those ones they happen every Thursday, and I'm supposed to, and we have not done that. I'm supposed to be at one particular church on the Tuesday the whole day. Just sit there and wait for people to come through. If they come through, it's supposed to happen that way. But I have not been really able to activate it, stuff like that. So you can't have a really set schedule. Sometimes it gets disturbed by little things like not little. Let me not call these things little, but certain things pop up like. Like we don't plan for a funeral, we don't plan for death. So it comes up and you have to attend to this thing. You don't plan for people to be sick, but they are now in hospital and they want you to come see them, then you go. But generally speaking, you can't really have a set schedule. So what I used to do in the past is, if I know I'm preaching at a church on Sabbath, then that entire week belongs to that church. If they have prayers on Wednesday, I will be there. If they have prayers on Friday, I'll be there. If they need me to visit them during the week, I will visit them. But it was like that. Right. But ministering in Johannesburg is quite complex. But we have Zoom meetings now these days. We meet families via Zoom also. It's not very, very easy to, like, I know that I know for a fact that if I moved from, which is imminent, it's coming, I can see it from far. If I moved from Johannesburg and I'm sent back to a different place.
You're moving past.
I mean, it happens every 3 years.
Okay, 3 years.
So if I'm to be moved, then I know my second challenge would then, the new challenge would then be moving from the city, going back to ministry. And the last time I was doing ministry in the townships was 2018. So I'm going to go back now and we're going to struggle again to readjust and all that.
Right. Before you come in, Kate, but which one do you prefer, my pastor? Like, based on who you are and your expertise, where do you think anyway?
I'm fine with everywhere. I'm a guy. I was in Venda. I studied there. They moved me. I wanted to cry, but I moved. They took me to the townships of the Free State. I arrived. I was welcomed well. We worked well with the people. I was loved. I loved them. They moved me. They brought me to the city. I wanted to cry.
Isn't that, in my view, not outdated, but isn't it an inconvenience to you pastors, especially now? Let's say you're going to go into the era of marriage. Doesn't that render a dysfunctionality within the family?
It
like
does.
The transfers.
They do. But I actually the other day was telling a friend that I'm beginning to appreciate that movement thing, because you can't do the same thing for too long in one place.
Okay.
And churches also get tired of you. And the gospel truth is that you also get tired of them. Like, I've been doing these people for too long. Can I just be moved? So it gets dysfunctional, but I think I appreciate the thing. I've been in this district that I'm in now since I arrived in the city. I don't know what more I can offer now.
Sure.
I don't know what else I can offer.
I know what more you can offer, but I'll tell you off camera.
So when does it tell me? So you now started having this I don't know, should I call it a side gig apart from your main gig?
Me?
No.
Hypothetical.
Okay.
So this idea of being invited out to other countries, to other places to speak, it's not guaranteed that will happen if you're a pastor.
Yeah.
Right, so you have to brand yourself in a certain way for that to happen, right?
Yeah.
So tell me how that journey went for you, and how was maybe the first few experiences for you in that, just getting to be, I don't know how to call it, like a celebrity pastor. I don't know. Depends how you put it.
I don't know how that happened, my guy. I don't know to lie to you. I don't know how that happened. But the world is a very small place now.
True.
So people watch online and they see you and they probably feel that you would be a fit for their church, a fit for their conference, a fit. So my first time, well, no, that was not my first time, but the first time I was really called was called outside of South Africa. I was called by a lady in Zim, and she told me that she got my number from Blosse. So then I went, and when I arrived there, I did what I did, and then the people around those churches also then decided that, okay, you came for that church, you can also come for ours. We really like what you sound like, I guess, or whatever. And when we go out to these places, we also preach with other preachers from outside of the spaces where, like, hey, my guy, I really appreciate your gift. Can you also come to Namibia to come and preach there? Not a problem. If you want me, then let's do that. So I don't know. I never planned for it to happen. This is something that I also, in passing, would like to address. I've never written to anyone to invite me. Sure. All right.
So you don't give them a
I don't. I've never.
Where are the people who do that?
Yes, there are people who would ask that they
the
come.
platform.
Yes, and it's fine. It's
All right,
okay.
okay.
It's not a problem. But I'm saying that I've never done it. I've never done it. So I guess if it's a gift, then it's working for me. So I've never called and said, hey, I want to come to your church there in wherever. Can you give me the platform? I've never done it. I sit here in my little churches and word of me goes out and I get invited. So I don't know. You talk about branding. I've never done it. I really have never done it. I just plan to go to my churches that I serve and speak a relevant message for the weekend, and it goes out, and people from out there then feel that you sound like someone we would love to have, then they invite. So I don't know if I have a brand. I have nothing. I know nothing about it.
It's just Pastor, I don't want us to invalidate your season of darkness. I don't know if you're comfortable to go to, right? Because I'm talking about your emotional and mental state. You always the go-to person is the pastor when the storms are facing us. But during that era of your life where you felt dejected and rejected, did people really care about your well-being? What were you going through? Did you go through some introspection to detect that things? Seems like there's some people who are like just vanity in my life. How was it? How was your emotional state? What were you going through? And how did that help you to reshape and realign yourself?
Look, generally speaking, people don't care about pastors. Generally speaking. And I think because we get from a pot that they contribute into, people feel that they do enough for us.
And they're entitled
and then they're entitled to
objectify you.
Yeah. So generally, people just don't care about the pastor. They don't care about the pastor's family. Generally, people just don't care. But then there's a select few of members who we truly appreciate, who don't do much, who just ask, "How are you?" Yeah. And in the most genuine sense. Of course, when I see you, my chief, wherever, when we meet in the streets, the question is, "How are you?" And it's a general question. We have that question we have in all languages under the sun. It's a general question, and that question is actually okay. It's just a greeting. That question, it's just a greeting. It has nothing to do with how you really are. But then there are those who step outside of, I bumped into you and I said, "How are you?" Then they call genuinely to say, "Hey, Pastor, how are you?" "No, I'm fine." "How are you really?" No, I'm fine. So there's that. So people just generally, there are droplets of people here and there who are very, very, very concerned about the pastor's well-being, and we appreciate those. And those who don't care, we really also appreciate you. We'll serve you because we are not. We are not here to be nursed also. So, but generally, it would be nice for church members to see the man. And not the object of So like I'm saying, people throw into the pot and we get from it, and they're like, because you eat from the pot that we cook.
Pastor, what do you say about them? We're saying, "Pastor, we pay you with our," well, that's what they say, "we pay with our tithes and offerings. In fact, without us, you'd be nothing."
What do I say to them?
What's your view on that view?
Or have you ever gotten something similar to that from members?
Not in so many words, people pass comments like, "Hey, so you are looking good." Like, "So our tithe is paid." Also remit tithe. So
This is unfortunate.
So it happens. I really don't have a view. It's amazing that even when we talk about it in church, we call it God's tithe. But when we see those who eat of it,
it's yours now.
Our money makes you look good. I got my chief, but I also put in the pot. I know that the mathematics of it is that you put, I get, and then I put also. But at the end of the day,
you contribute.
But look, here in the ministry, one of the things that you must learn to do, and it's a concept I learned from a friend, don't feed a beast, don't feed the beast. If you've paid attention to my interactions on social media, I'm not a stranger to problems on social media. I'm not. But you will never see me interact. Like if we were to discuss that other issue, and I will tell you that you will never see me responding. I will never respond to because the more you respond, the more people poke holes into your response, and they give the problem a long life. Your responses actually give the problem very long legs for it to walk miles and miles long. So when things like these happen, I just keep quiet. Funniest thing is, the other day I was at the mall. When we speak about these things, people think we are lying. The other day I was at the mall at Woolies. At Woolies, if you know Woolies, you know that the seasons where you can buy vegetables free at the price of what.
Yes, those specials.
I bumped into an Adventist man who said to me, "What are you doing here? It's us who should shop here." Really?
Are you less than? When you're not eligible for Woolies?
Jokes. Those are some of the things we bump into this ministry thing.
No, that's powerful. Let's conclude this segment with the last question to say, Mfundis, to the young people out there, or to your church at large, how would you like to be remembered?
I just want to be remembered as a pastor that tried his best to do God's work and he tried his best to. Actually, the other day I was thinking about this and I wanted to write it on Facebook, but I thought people were going to panic. I wanted to say, if when I die, should I die? God forbid, should I die? Just remember that I did my best for the church and very little for myself. So I just want to be remembered as a guy that put his heart into it. Of course, mistakes will happen. We'll miss certain things. We'll be blindsided. But I'd like to think of myself as a guy that just has poured his soul into it. And I want to be remembered like that. As the pastor that did his best for the church. I don't want to say it for God. It's God's institution, so we can say so. Yeah, I did my best for the church. That's what I want to be remembered as. All these other funky things, preaching,
Sure. Thank you so much for joining us for this session. In the next session, beloved, we'll be taking you through some of the, laissez-faire questions for the pastor that you've sent through as our viewers. So we'll just be getting to know some of those funny questions that you want the pastor to answer. For what good reason, I don't know. But anyway, he'll answer them in part 2. All right, for this episode, it's been the Advent Pod SA, a timely voice with our pastor Tefo Manyane.
Maranatha.
Jesuwa.
Thank you. Thanks, Pastor.